When it comes to fresh greens, arugula is one of my favorites for its spicy, sharp flavor. Last year when I planted arugula, I got a lot of plants, but they were all kind of stemmy without a lot of leaf. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong, but I'm hoping Danielle can set me straight. So it's nice and warm now, and you said this is a good day to plant the arugula?
Yeah, because even though we might get a late frost still, it's still okay, because arugula can take it a little bit cooler.
So last year, I didn't get a lot of arugula to cook with.
I know you were saying it was really stemmy, and
Yeah.
that's got me thinking that perhaps you had the wrong kind of arugula.
Oh, what do you mean?
Believe it or not, there's two different kinds of arugula seeds that you can buy. One is great for cooking, and one is more on the stemmy side. Common arugula is perfect for cooking because it produces lush, lobed leaves and grows to be quite large. Wild Italian arugula, on the other hand, is more sharply flavored, but it's much more stemmy and it bolts far faster than the other kind, making it not so great for cooking.
Oh yeah, I did plant wild arugula last year because the seed catalog said it would have more intense flavor, but it didn't mention the stemminess.
Honestly, seed catalogs are a little bit like plant porn. They make everything sound so great, but I'm really hoping that you got common arugula this year. Oh yeah, you did. Okay, we're good to go. Let's go pick a place and plant your arugula.
Okay.
So this is the bed where your peas were planted, and it's the perfect spot for your arugula because they're both cool season crops.
So what happens once it gets warmer?
We're gonna rip everything out and we're gonna plant a later season crop like squash or basil, something like that.
Okay.
So let me show you how to get started. Start your arugula patch by sowing the seeds directly into the ground in early spring. Form 1-inch wide rows by just barely parting the soil with the tip of the trowel. Space your rows 3 to 4 inches apart. How many rows you plant depends on how much you like arugula. Sarah, how much do you like arugula?
A lot.
Okay, so once we've dug our multiple rows, sprinkle in the tiny seeds using the seed packet, creating a nearly solid line down the middle of the ditch. The last step is just to take a small handful of soil and sprinkle a layer on top of the seeds, filling in the ditch. Great job planting, Sarah.
So I know the next step is to water it in. How often will I have to water the arugula?
Arugula actually likes to stay pretty damp, so make sure that you're watering it on a pretty regular basis if it hasn't rained yet. So always keep the patch moist.
Okay, is there anything else we need to do? Will I need to thin the crops at all?
No, actually arugula doesn't need to be thin, but we are gonna have to watch out for some pests like flea beetles in a couple of weeks.
Oh God, maybe Juno could chase away the flea beetles because she does such a good job with squirrels. I already mentioned that my arugula crop wasn't the best last year. Part of that was because of the plants I picked, the wild versus regular. Part of it was because Juno kept getting into them. But the other problem I had was that the leaves had little tiny pinprick sized holes in them. I thought it was slugs, but who knows what it was.
All right, Sarah, so let me see these pitiful arugula leaves. I'm very excited.
At least you're excited. There you go.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that doesn't look like slug damage. See all
Really?
the little pinholes in there?
Uh-huh.
That's what flea beetles do. They actually suck the juices out in little itty bitty holes all over the leaves.
We ate those leaves, is that okay?
Yeah, it's all right. It makes the plant look hideous. It's not gonna hurt you, but over time it can stress out a plant and make the arugula die.
Well, so far the arugula patch looks pretty clean, but what can I do to make sure they don't come back?
I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve, so let's go check out the patch.
Okay. So the arugula is looking pretty good, isn't it?
It is. So now is the perfect time to talk about our defensive measures against the flea beetle. This is our first option. It's called diatomaceous earth.
What?
I know, it's a mouthful. It's actually crushed up fossilized shells. So it feels like a powder to us, but it actually has microscopic sharp edges that slice into the soft bodies of insects and kill them.
Is it safe for Juno?
It actually is. What you want to make sure is that you have a diatomaceous earth product that's food grade, because it's actually added into things that you would cook with, like flour and grains. The only thing is, I'm a little leery about it. You look a little leery too.
I just hate to add anything unless absolutely necessary.
I know. And the thing about diatomaceous earth is that it kills all insects that have soft bodies, so it could have a harmful effect on some bees or even worms. You would only want to use it if it's a severe case of flea infestation.
So what are my other options?
All right, hang on a second, I'll go get it. Ta-da!
What, are we gonna sleep out here to patrol 24/7 for the flea beetles?
No, this is actually rime. It's a physical barrier against the bugs getting to the arugula.
But if you cover them up, how do they get sun and water?
This is a magic fabric. It actually lets in about 75% of the sunlight, and it's permeable, so the rain still gets through.
Wow, so all I have to do to harvest them is just pull up the fabric and then put it back down when I'm done?
Exactly. So all you want to do is cover it over, and then on each end, you just want to pin it a little bit. So this kind of holds it in place, but not too tight, a little more fluffed up. And we'll pin it right along the sides. And this will hold it down in case it gets super windy. These are just landscape pins for landscape fabric that I got at the home store.
So we're keeping this loose so that the arugula can get bigger, right?
Yeah, so it has space to grow, and actually this is looking a little bit tight.
Yeah, I think we need a bigger piece. Do you have any more rime?
There was a little bit of an incident when I was trying to bring it out of my car and over to the garden.
Oh boy, Juno. All right, let's go back to the garden store.
Sounds good. All right, Sarah, now that's how we want our rime to look.
Much to my delight, I actually have arugula to harvest this year. The plants have sized up really nice, but it's gotten a little hot and they're even starting to bolt. So I'm lucky Danielle's here to help me pick. So Danielle, no flea beetle damage on the arugula. The rime did its job.
Yay, that's awesome. And the leaves down on this end of the bed that get more sun actually have sized up pretty nicely. They're pretty large. And over here, some smaller leaves too. Are we ready to harvest?
I think we're ready to harvest.
All right, we've got 3 different options. We can graze, cut, or pull.
Graze? What are we, cows?
No, here, I'll show you what I mean. Grazing is when you just want a few select leaves to add into a salad. You pinch a couple of leaves off each plant, leaving the majority behind. This is a great option for the beginning of the harvest season because as soon as the leaves are a couple inches tall, you can actually start grazing. Another option is that you can cut up to 1/3 of each plant back to the ground. Use the leaves in your cooking and then leave behind enough of the plant to regenerate itself and keep producing more leaves. Each time, you'll take the largest leaves. Our last option is towards the end of the arugula season, you'll start to notice it going to flower. That's called bolting. This makes the leaves bitter, so it's best to pull up the entire plant, root ball and all, and bring it into the kitchen to be clean. This method also clears out the bed, making way for a later crop.
You know, it really bums me out. These seem to have bolted like overnight. Is there a way I can catch the plants right before they bolt?
You know, there is a telltale sign. They actually start to put out these little funky looking leaves up at the top that kind of look more weedy than lobed and nice like the arugula. And then you know that follow quickly behind is going to be flowers.
So is there a particular time of day with arugula that's best to harvest?
Really, you want to do it when it's shady, like right now early in the morning because we're shaded over, or in the evening when the sun's gone down. Because with any greens like lettuce, arugula, they start wilting as soon as you pick them. So if you pick them in full sun, they wilt faster.
Hey, it looks like we got a nice batch of leaves here. Why don't we go inside and I'll make us some arugula salad for lunch?
Is there anything other than salad that I can make with arugula?
Oh yeah, just you wait.